The difference between a brand who's spending $5,000 per day on ads versus a brand that's spending $30,000 per day on ads isn't just budget, it's creative infrastructure. And smaller brands rely on trends, they rely on gut instinct, they rely on guessing and copying competitors. The larger scaled brands, they win because they have better systems for ideation and iteration of creatives, framework-based execution, creative operations as a core function, not an afterthought, data-backed decisions and win rate tracking, and a research flywheel that fuels new angles faster than competitors can copy. In this video, I'm going to share the 3 different pillars that we use internally at my agency, Haze, to produce winning ads on a consistent basis for the clients that we work with. We produce hundreds of ads every single month across all the clients that we work with, and we only work with a handful of clients. And when you scale brands, yes, volume is important, but you can't forget the quality aspect, right? You need to be able to produce a higher volume of ads, but maintain a strong win ratio. And in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly, I'm going to pull back the curtain behind the scenes to show you all of our internal processes, all of the creative tools that we're using, the actual softwares that we're using, and how we keep it lean and how we bring everything together, all right? This video is going to be action-packed, a lot of value, so let's dive right into it. First, before we actually get into the meat of the video, I just want to show you that you can trust what I'm about to tell you in this video. I scale brands to 8 figures, what I do within my agency. We have a team of people across both paid acquisition and also customer retention. On the paid acquisition side, we focus on ad creative production and meta ads. And on the retention side, we focus on lifetime value, email and SMS, retention marketing, lifestyle marketing. So yeah, this is it. Let's get right into it. So what I'm gonna do here is, as I said, go through these 3 different areas. First of all, we have systematic creative ideation over creative guessing. Second, we have research-driven angles, not competitive copying. And third, we have AI-enhanced ideation and speed to market. So all these 3 are important. Let's start with number 1. And what I want you to internalize is bigger brands, they know that scaling isn't about making one perfect ad. It's about building a system, a machine that can generate, test, learn, and repeat. It's about building a process that constantly spits out the winners, right? The biggest bottleneck that e-commerce brands face when it comes to meta ads specifically, as long as you have your product dialed in, your product market fit, you have offer structure that works, you have AOV, conversion rate, that dialed in and it works good enough. The biggest bottleneck is finding creatives that win, right? And the amount of brands, agencies that I see that just throw stuff at the wall and they see what sticks and they discard things that don't work and they don't learn from their losers and they're spinning their wheels. It's alarming, right? But what that means is it presents an opportunity for the brands and the agencies that do apply a systematic creative iteration process. So what do I mean by that? First of all, frameworks first, right? The big brands, they build ads based off of proven psychological models. Examples are PASS, AIDA, 4Ps. I've done other videos where I break down these frameworks in more detail. I would encourage you to go to my channel and watch the other ad creative breakdown videos. I go through a lot of different frameworks across those. But what this does is it removes the guesswork because the framework itself is already proven. We're building off of proven foundations. We're not building from scratch. And what you should do is you should start by creating a swap file of your brand's top 3 performing ad frameworks. Understand what are the actual, the ads that are working for you. What is going on behind the scenes with those ads, right? Even if you didn't build the ad based off a framework, try to understand the psychological principles that are coming across in that ad. And ultimately, getting the specific angle that's working for you as well and leaning into that, okay? That would be the first step. Next is win rate tracking, okay? This is about tracking how many creatives win out of every 10, right? You get a percentage of your win ratio. And then you benchmark your creative efficiency, not just your ROAS, right? And what you can do is you can use a simple Google Sheet or Notion tracker to log hook variations, win status, and value prop focus. We're all about keeping track of the creatives themselves because ultimately the learning here is so important. If you're going to spend, you're going to put money behind ad creatives, even if they don't work, you want to be able to learn. You want to be able to save winning elements inside those frameworks that you can then use and apply to future ads. And I'm going to show you a practical way to do that in just a moment. So win rate tracking is key. It's what the bigger brands do. They understand that if they start scaling their creative output and their win ratio takes a big hit, they need to second guess that, right? They need to actually reframe and rethink, how can we improve our win rate? Because if you play just the volume game, trust me, it's not a game that you want to play. You don't want to be producing hundreds of ads every single month just to try and keep up with a low win ratio, right? You fix the win ratio, you fix the rate at which you can find winners, and ultimately your scalability, okay? So getting into the actual practical tools that we actually use at my agency. First of all, framework tracking and really just the whole creative board, the whole creative process. I wanted to show you this real quick actually. Basically, every client we have a creative board in Notion for them. Basically, everything from production to post-production, all these blocks here, is blurred out just to keep things confidential, but all these blocks here are ad creatives that are in progress, right? We have ready to assign, content revision, content approved. This is just the production phase. Then we have a whole other tab for post-production, right? This is the ones that are edit revision. We have some on hold, but the ones that are coming in here, editing, first delivery will all be in here. And then finally we have this for launch, right? Once the ads are approved and ready for launch, We have this ready to launch. This is so the media buyer knows that these are actually ready to go live on the platforms. They can be uploaded. And then we have all the ones that are launched, right? So this is just, an insight into some of the creative board and the process we're using. Framework tracking, as I mentioned earlier, you can use Notion as a database. You can use Airtable, Google Sheets, pretty much anything will do. We like to use Notion internally just to keep our tech stack lean. Creative performance mapping, Triple Whale and Northbeam, choose one and stick to it. Both of them are working just fine. Iteration trees, Google Sheets, and also you want to track, UTMs. So basically what you can do is, when it comes to creating iterations, and iterations is basically when you analyze the performance of the ad, and then you create a hypothesis as to what you want to do next as an iteration, right? You create a slight change based on the data, and you create an iteration of the same ad, right? And now you want to keep track of those iteration trees because you might iterate 5 times, right, on the same ad, on the same concept. So you want to keep track of that. You want to keep track of what's working and what's not working. So that's called an iteration tree because it starts and it branches out the more you do it, okay? So you can do Google Sheets, simple for that, and then you also want to track the UTMs you're using across those ads as well. And then finally, content organization, we use Air.inc, and we do this for all of our clients as well. We basically get all the content, all the raw content, we organize it by content creators, you can see here. We organize it by different ads that they've produced, and every single ad, every concept, every brief, we have the individual clips, right? So each of these clips see 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 10 seconds, and it's like very specific, right? If we click on one of these, we can actually see the video, but we can see the tags itself. We can see, is it benefit driven, is it desired outcome, talking head, and we also see the content creator name and the status optimized, right? Meaning this has already been optimized by the person who's organizing all this for us internally. Okay, so what it means is that when it comes to finding B-roll that we already have, that we don't actually have to go out and ask content creators to get that again and wait for the time it takes for them to deliver that back, but also, we don't have to pay for them, right, to get that for us. We already have it. So what it means is that we can actually save money on content, we can move faster, but we can also tag these, like any winning elements, anything that, we break down the ad and we see that, okay, there's certain winning elements within this ad. Elements meaning, specific areas within the framework. So it could be the way we introduce the product, it could be the visual that was used for the benefits, it could be the product unboxing, whatever it is, we can tag those as winning elements and we can reuse them in the future, okay? So that is all about testing and learning, right? And you can see how this is a much more systematic creative iteration process over just guessing and throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, okay? So this is really pillar number 1. Pillar number 2 is research-driven angles and not copying your competitors. The reason why I say not copying your competitors, it doesn't mean that you can't or you shouldn't copy your competitors. We get inspiration from competitors all the time. However, if you really want to scale and you want to be the trailblazer in your industry, right? You want to be the one coming up with those out-of-the-box ideas, those unique angles that no one has ever done before. You need to stop copying competitors. You need to get outside of the echo chamber and you need to have other means of coming up with creative ideas. I'm going to show you multiple ways to do that right now. The best performing creative angles don't come from what your competitors are doing, they come from what your customers are feeling, okay? Remember that. So, first of all, use review mining and other platforms to surface emotional triggers, beliefs, and product language, okay? Now, the way you can find these is TikTok, right? Search on TikTok, search on YouTube, use GigaBrain. GigaBrain is a method of storming through Reddit articles, and this is the website right here. And basically it allows you to, basically scans billions of discussions on Reddit and other online communities. So it's not specific to Reddit, but it brings that information back for you. So it's a way to get a lot of the information that's out there in a much faster and much more seamless way, okay? Google Trends, you can look up what people are searching for, Amazon customer reviews as well, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to train ChatGPT or Claude with customer reviews to generate new angles in your brand's tone. So you can feed the customer reviews in ChatGPT as a CSV, and then what you can do is you can ask it specific questions. You can ask it to extract the insights, the commonalities, the most repeated phrases, the words, the sentiment, the positive sentiment, negative sentiment, and you can get those insights, okay? Then you can ask ChatGPT to use those insights to create avatars for you and create specific marketing angles and even write scripts for you, okay? So there's a lot you can do that. Gummy Search is another one that you can use to actually find what customers are saying on Reddit, okay? So it's another tool there. Then we have Lexalytics and Ask Viable. These are more to extract customer sentiment analysis. These are just different tools that you can use to get more feedback from your customers, right? And really understand what your customers are feeling and extract ad angles from those, okay? So these are just more ways you can actually come and do the research to find those winning angles instead of always going to foreplay. And your competitors are doing the same thing. They go into foreplay, they go into the ad library, and they are getting ideas from those competitors. And I'm not saying that's wrong, right? I'm actually going to encourage that, right, with ideation. But I do believe that you can come up with a lot of creative angles, out of the box, unique things that the market hasn't seen before, and be the trailblazer, carve out your own space by leveraging the things that I just spoke about right here, okay? Third and final pillar is AI-enhanced ideation and speed to market. So AI isn't about replacing your creative team. It's about supercharging their output and unlocking velocity at scale. So this is how to do it. You use AI to, first of all, generate first drafts of scripts, then rewrite with human nuance, right? You train ChatGPT, you can train a custom GPT both on your reviews, but you can also get it to write scripts for you, and then you can rewrite with human nuance, as I said here. Second, you can use AI to identify ad fatigue early using creative performance models. And third, you can use AI to personalize creatives by audience segment based on behavior data. Okay, so you can get more specific. Now, what are the tools to use within AI? First of all, ideation and spying, foreplay, they're building in AI into their product. Foreplay is great. You can always use Atria. It's basically the same thing, okay? Second, in terms of AI content and AI avatars, you can use Icon or Arc ads. I've done videos on Icon before about making video ads, static ads. We're also using Arc ads internally. It works pretty well. So those are the two for there. And then voiceovers, 11 Labs, right? Pretty well known, pretty common. 11 Labs is also getting much, much better as time goes on. And what you can do is you can create new ads just by using AI voiceovers and existing B-roll content, which is easy to find with Air.ink, right? And you could put that through the pipeline process that I showed you on Notion. You can track your winners, you can track iteration trees, you can do the everything is covered here that you need to come up with those winning ads. And as I mentioned, creative isn't about gut feeling. It's more about a system and a process that allows you to spit out these winning ads on a consistent basis. And the brands that are scaling to 30K per day in spend are the ones who figured it out. They figured out how to build repeatable, flexible systems that move fast without guessing, that can scale up as they scale their ad spend, okay? So that's it for this video. If you found this helpful in terms of going more into the weeds in the specific systems that we use, and you want me to go deeper into a specific system or a specific process that I shared here in this video, then just comment down below and I'll be sure to do that. And if you run an e-commerce brand, you're doing over 100K per month in revenue, and you want a team to come in and do this for you to help you scale, to manage the ads, manage the media buying, even do the retention marketing to extend LTV and really scale your business profitably and combine the marketing and finance together, and a team that can actually leverage and look at the P&L to enhance marketing targets and efficiency, then right below this video in the description, you can find a link to my website. You can book a call directly with me. We'll have a chat about your business and see if there's a fit for us to work together. I mentioned in this video that we only work with a handful of clients, and we turn most clients away. So we really do our due diligence to make sure we can come in and crush it for you, because the brands that you want to work with, we want to work with them for years. We want these solid partnerships. That's just the way we like to work. If that at all resonates with you, as I said, we'd love to have a call with you and learn more about the business and see how we can help. That is all for this video, and I'll see you in the next one.